guys, it's Rachel from the Northern Senior Activity Center coming to you from my front garden. I wanted to share with you guys something special that I have put together while we've been in quarantine. I made a really big version of this, and I'm going to show it to you in some of the footage, and it really turned out awesome, and I was just so inspired by what we had made that I wanted to be able to share this project with you. And that project is how to make a fairy house. See this little guy here? He's super cute. So this video is going to show you how to make this. Just be pre-warned, while I was filming this video, the battery on my camera died and I lost some of the footage of attaching the rocks, but I do show you in some of the earlier steps how to get those rocks on. So I just wanted to make sure that you know that I'm going to tell you how to get the rocks on, but that you're not going to see me doing a whole bunch of it. It's going to go from there's going to be some rocks and then it's going to be covered in rocks. And I do apologize for that because, again, my camera battery died. Tears. But I just wanted to let you know that I think that this turned out really cool. And I hope that you guys get a chance to make one of these and decorate your front garden. So here we go. Alright guys, so in order to get started, we're going to need a few supplies. The first thing you're going to need is a plastic bottle. Now, I have chosen to use this large soda bottle. You can also choose to use a smaller soda bottle if you prefer, but I would advise that it be something that is see-through, whether it's green in color or clear, it's not really matter, but you want to be able to see through the bottle so that you can illuminate the house when you're done. When you use it in your planter or if you put it in your garden, being able to put a flameless candle inside, you will be able to see the light glowing underneath. If you use a see-through container, you can use an empty bleach bottle or laundry detergent bottle to make your fairy house. Just know that if you want to illuminate it, you may have to cut out sections for your windows. So by using a clear container, you don't have to have precision cutting. You can just place the window over top of it and the light will show without having to cut extra holes. The next thing you're going to need is a pair of scissors. This is going to help us cut the bottle in half. We're going to get that cutting process started with a serrated knife. So you're going to end up taking this and scoring the bottle just a few times so that you can get a little hole. And then once you have that hole, you'll be able to cut fully around with the scissors. You're also going to need some tape. This is going to help us when we secure the bottom of the soda bottle to the top part of the bottle so that we can create our roof. And we will use both tape and we will be using a glue gun. The two of those things together are really going to help solidify the top. This glue gun is a low temperature glue gun, and I have, and it's already gluing. Look at that, that's fun. And I have these glue sticks. And as you can see, I have a rather large bag of glue sticks, so we are going to have lots in reserve. Also, we are going to need our rocks. Now, these we went out and gathered from the property. We actually went to the Northern Senior Activity Center property to gather these rocks because I do not have this kind of supply at my house. But if you do, you are perfectly capable to gather them off of your property. You can also choose to use larger rocks. You just want to make sure that once you sort of pick a size, that you are consistent with that. And when I looked for the rocks, I looked for rather flat rocks. I also was perfectly good with like some angled pieces because it allows me to frame out, around the windows or get things into places. So you want to have them be thinner, like lighter rocks, but it's okay that they can be round or that they can be jagged. It gives you options how to work it in. And then you're going to need a lot of twigs to be able to do the roof. Now, these are obviously just two. I have a bag off to the side of my workspace so that I can have all of my twigs ready to go. And then these, of course, are going to be used to make your door, your windows, your roof, and then any other embellishments that you may want to do. I am going to use the rocks as much as possible on the design and use the twigs for the roof, but you could do a rock base and then do a twig house if that is more convenient to you, or you can do an all twig house if that is more convenient for you, making it like a log cabin. So it's really up to you, but for this purpose I'm going to be using the rocks to cover the house and then the twigs for the roof. So we have our bottle and we're just going to take a look at it and see how we want to utilize this bottle. I'm going to cut it in a couple of places. I'm going to cut the bottle here. This is going to be the base of the house, and I'm going to cut the bottle here. This is going to be for the roof. So we're going to go ahead and get that started by taking our serrated knife, and we're just going to go right here where this lip is, where the bump is coming up. You want to follow the contours of the bottle, and we're just going to just kind of saw back and forth. Okay, and as you can see, we now have a little hole, and that's really what we want the knife for, is just to create a hole for the scissors. Okay, so he's all nice and smooth. The next thing we're gonna do, now you can see if we tried to put it on like this, it would just be kind of weird. So we're going to cut this section off. Okay guys, so we're gonna go ahead and get ready. As you can see, I've got my bottle here and I've got my rocks. So what we're gonna do, and I also have my glue gun, which is nice and hot because it's already dripping. As you do this project, you're gonna find that you might get a lot of little strings from your glue. That's perfectly fine. I'm gonna open this while I instruct a little bit. The strings will, at the end, you can just sort of pluck them off. Glue guns tend to be a little messy that way, but also they're just kind of fun. They're like cobwebby, so don't necessarily be super worried about that process. So you can just leave the little strings on and it'll be perfectly fine. We can deal with those later. So I have rocks, and what I'm going to do is I am going to start by putting some of the rocks on here. My goal is to cover this with rocks and come as high up as I possibly can, and then we will address the roof as we get on. So I'm gonna take my glue gun and I'm gonna start right about here, and I'm gonna pick a rock and glue him on. And I'm going to keep that process going. And as I work my way around, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to about here and I'm going to do a door for this. So I'm going to go around this way, and then as I come back around here, I'm going to put my door. So again, just taking the glue, putting it on, taking a rock, and stamping it in place. And as you can see, it gets pretty hot. It starts to crimp the plastic. So this glue gun is really effective. Low temp glue guns will also work with this. So I believe this is a low temp glue gun, but it is heating up like a hot temp. Ooh, it's heating up like a hot temp glue gun, and that is sliding. So we will have to fix him. You will also find that that happens sometimes. The rocks are going to kind of fall off, and that is perfectly okay. You just need to have your moment and get past it and glue it back on and give it a minute. And you'll find that as you repair any parts that, let me move this guy, get out of the way. If you have to repair any parts, you may find that little spots like that open up. And that's where having smaller rocks is a benefit to you, because then you can pack them in. So again, just want to make sure everybody is happily glued and connected. Like this. and we're just going to continue to work our way around. But before we continue doing that, I'm going to show you how to put the door on. So for the door, I have a massive collection of twigs. I went around the property and gathered some twigs for this project. So for this door, I have previously done a rounded door and it looked really, really cute, but I'm not seeing anything that is jumping out at me as being perfectly round or helping me out with like being really bendable. But I did find this really cool piece, and I thought, you know, it kind of would make a really interesting door to not have it be perfectly, you know, having it be like a triangle, having it be a different shape. It just might be kind of fun. So I think I'm going to use this as the door. But again, if you wanted to do an arched door, that's perfectly fine. So I'm just going to use the edge of the table to snap that off, kind of make it at least standable. And I'm going to glue him just straight on. And then stamp him on like that. I think that's going to make a really interesting door. So I know it seems a little random right now, but I promise you it will all come together. And while we're working on that, we can go ahead and do our windows. I think it sort of adds to the whimsy if they are a little imperfect. So I think I have an idea. Right now that's kind of looking cool already. I'm liking that shape. So I'm just going to keep at that. I'm going to create some little bars for the window using little pieces. And I'm also going to go ahead and fill in the door. Now the door, I'm just going to do a bunch of sticks tightly together. Whee! So, just sort of playing with some of the pieces I already have, seeing what works, you know, because at the end of the day too, the aesthetic is important. You know, you do want to look nice, but if you mess up or it doesn't quite look the way you want it to, you can also layer pieces. You can, you know, stack some of these guys on top of each other and do multi-tiered, you can thicken up the door, you know, lay another stick on top and people will be none the wiser. So don't worry if it doesn't turn out exactly how you want it the first layer. Just keep at it and add another layer if you need to. Okay, so we've got our door. We've got our window, at least our first window. I'll probably put another window like over here somewhere. And I want to get all of those in before I put the bulk of my rocks down, just because you don't want to have a window and with rocks behind it, because that's not a usable window. How on earth would that work, friends? So I am going to dig for a cool piece of wood, see if there's any pieces in my bag of tricks that inspire me. All right, friends, I found this other cool, like, gnarled piece. Look at that guy. He's got some character. I think I'm gonna have him broken at that knot, broken at that knot. Maybe a little smaller. Broken there. I do like that knot, though. Ooh, that's a good size. And then check that out. And there's a little bit of symmetry, but it's not like perfect symmetry. And I think I like that as a thing. So I'm gonna create my window shape real quick. Okay guys, so as you can see, we have gotten all of our rocks on. I have some little bits of glue strands on there, but that's okay. You can sort of pick at them as you see fit. But yeah, the rocks are all secured, and now we are going to get started on working on the roof. I'm kind of having a lot of fun pulling these away. They're like little cobwebby bits. Okay, so here is our roof piece. We're going to start working on this and start constructing it separately. And then about halfway through, once we sort of have our main stabilizing pieces, we're going to attach it. And we are going to finish the roof once it's attached, because it can be really difficult to finish attaching the roof, or to attach the roof once it's completely finished, because you can't get underneath with the glue gun. I would like to point out that as you go through this process, you may find that rocks fall off while you're working, and it can get a little bit frustrating. I can understand that. But I just wanted you to be aware that the glue gun is hot, and so sometimes it might melt the base a little bit that you're working with, and as you're going up, you may find that the plastic starts to shift, and that's why rocks are coming loose. Or perhaps you did my method, which is the spreading of a lot of glue and then you put several rocks down. You may need to go back and fortify with a little bit more glue depending on the weight of the rock. Or it may just be that the rock doesn't have the right shape, it doesn't have the right contour to fit in that area, and it may just be better suited to go somewhere else. So just keep that in mind. You're not doing it wrong if the rock falls off. It just means that maybe that rock needs to go somewhere else, or it just might need a little bit more glue. I went ahead and brought out some additional things. I'm not sure how much of this you can see, but I have some embellishments. I have some moss and I have some artificial flowers. I also have buttons and I have some twine. So you can use any of these kinds of things to help decorate your fairy house, or you can keep it as natural as you'd like. It really just depends. I also have some pine cones in my stick bag below, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on some of these pieces. Now, previously what I had done is very triangular roofs, like a teepee basically. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of these long sticks and I'm just going to break them. And again, keep in mind when you're gathering your sticks, you want to try to keep them small so that they're easy to work with. They are easy to break. You can get a few thicker sticks if you really need to, but the thinner sticks, these are a lot easier to work with. I would say maybe about 1/3 of the diameter of your pinky is a good size to look for. This is also a really great way to get any grandkids or kids involved in this craft, whether you want to have them help pick rocks or you want to have them help gather sticks for you. That's a really great outdoor activity to sort of keep people engaged. Or if you find yourself just sort of walking around the yard and seeing a stick that catches your eye, you are more than welcome to do that as well. So we're gonna start in the valleys, right here in the valleys of the soda bottle. I find that that's kind of the easiest place to start. So we're gonna get some glue in there, and then we're gonna push these guys, and you kind of wanna go to the middle section because you still wanna be able to get this on and be able to have access to underneath, but you want it to start covering towards the center. And you can always change the pitch of the roof by layering your sticks. So we're gonna grab 2 more guys. And again, just sticking them in there. Stick in the sticks. Set him off to the side, and I'm gonna take some tape. Now, the glue is actually going to melt the tape, so I am gonna start. I made too small of a piece of tape. I got distracted by my watch. These smartwatches are smart, but they're not that smart. We're gonna start by adhering some tape around here. This is just sort of more plastic for the glue to melt. Also smooths this surface out just a little bit. So I can wrap him around. And we're gonna fold him down a little bit. Okay, that makes me happy. No, he's slipping off. It's okay, we can fix that. And we're just gonna stamp him up here like so. And that's gonna hold it in place so that we can do this. Pick it up. And pump some glue underneath. My sticks are betraying me. I start pulsing this glue gun and it makes me think of the oil can from The Wizard of Oz, and they're like, oil can, and they're pumping the Tin Man with the oil. That's exactly what that reminds me of. Okay, so now we need a bunch of sticks, and we want to keep in mind that this is the front of the house. So if you want any part of the roof to look unique in that area, you know, whether it's, you know, a funky bendy one, for example, that could be cool. And just start building out. And you can also build underneath. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. Gluing some sticks onto the roof. pretty much we are at a place where we can start putting on embellishments. Like I said, I have some moss that I can sort of sprinkle around. Alright, so now I've got some moss, and then I also have some little flowers that I want to put in here as well. So I'm just going to put glue on him and kind of just stab him in. Okay, I am feeling pretty good about this guy. I was thinking about a button or something for a doorknob, but I think I might do like a lever, like this, sticking out from the door. And again, that's purely up to you. You could use a button, you could use a pebble, you could use a bead, whatever floats your boat. This is my finished fairy house. We're gonna show you what he looks like in the real world.